All right, calculus. The sum of 2x from 5 to 8. So it's 2 times 5 plus 2 times 6 plus 2 times 7 plus 2 times 8.
I'm trying to think of different ways that we could go around.
10 plus 12 plus 14 plus 16. 30, 22, 52. Number 2, it's from 1 to 6. So it's 1 squared plus 1 plus 2 squared plus 1 plus 3 squared plus 1 plus 4 squared plus 1 plus 5 squared plus 1 plus 6 squared plus 1. This is 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, 16, 17, 25, 26, 36 plus 1 is 37. And I'll just use a calculator. 2 plus 5 plus 10 plus 17 plus 26 plus 37 is 97. Alright, this is factorial from 1 to 4, so 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus 3 factorial plus 4 factorial. 1 factorial is 1 plus 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 plus times 1, 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24, times 1. And this is 32, 33. Alright, the last one. From 1 to 4, so it's 1 factorial over 1 plus 2 factorial over 2 plus 3 factorial over 3 plus 4 factorial over 4. So it's 1 over 1. 2 factorial is 2 times 1, which is 2. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. 3 times 2 times 1 is 6 over 3. And 4 factorial is 4 times 3, 12 times 2, 24 times 1. 4. So it's 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, limits. Always plug in first. We're going to plug in -3. When you plug in -3, you're going to get 0 over 0. That tells you need to do, because it's a fraction, we're going to factor. So x plus 3 over, so the factors of this is x plus 3 and x plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. Divide out x plus 3, so you get 1 over x plus 1. At this time we plug in -3, so it's 1 over -3 plus 1 is 1 over -2, so it's -1/2. Same thing with this one. When you plug in 1, you're going to get 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 plus 2 is 3, minus 3 is 0. You get 0 over 0. So that means there's something we could do about it. So we're going to factor. So what two numbers multiply to be -3 and add to be 2? So it'll be x, it's going to be 1 minus 1 x plus 3. So x minus 1 and x minus 1 go away. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. So we get 1 over x plus 3. We're going to plug in 1. So when we plug in 1, you get 1 plus 3 is 4. So it's 1/4. Alright, let's plug in 1. You get 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 plus 1 is 2 minus 2 is 0. You get 0, 0. So we factor again. X minus 1. So what two numbers multiply by 2? 1 and 2. How do you get a positive 1 with 1 and 2, make this plus and make this minus. X minus 1 go out, so it's 1 over x plus 2. We plug in 1, so it's 1 over 1 plus 2 is 3. Alright, infinity. Infinity is so big that when you plug in infinity, plus 16 doesn't matter. So you got 16x over x squared. So you got 1x on top, 2 on the bottom. So when you're going to cross out this x with one of these on the bottom. So you get 16 over x. You're going to plug in infinity. And we talked about this. When the infinity is on the bottom, equals 0. So a number over infinity is 0. If you have infinity divided by any number like 10 or 100, that equals infinity. So the answer is 0. Alright, another infinity one, negative infinity this time. 3 is so small it goes out. You got 3 x's on the top, 2 on the bottom. So when you cross out, you're going to have 1 extra left on top with a 2 on the bottom. At this point, you plug in negative infinity. When we divide, we go negative infinity divided by 2. The 2 doesn't really matter, so it's still equal to negative infinity. Number 9, or 10. We're going to plug in 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 squared is 9. Minus 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 9. So all this on the bottom is going to be 0, so it's 2 over 0. So when you get a number over 0, it's one of 3 answers: infinity, negative infinity, or D and E. What you have to do is split this up into 2 limits. The limit as x approaches, you want a number less than 3, so we're going to do 2. And the limit as x approaches, you want a number bigger than 3, so we're going to do 4. We don't care what the answer is. We just care about, is it positive or negative. So when we plug in 2, we get 2 minus 1. And then 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 9. Alright, 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 squared is 4 minus 12. 4 minus 12 is 8. Negative 8. Negative 8 plus 9 is positive 1. So it doesn't matter what this number is. It's a positive answer. Matter of fact, positive infinity. Because we're not really plugging in 2. We're plugging in a number really close to 3, like 2.99999, but we're just making it easier by plugging in 2. Alright, 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. I'm just going to write 3 here. 4 squared is 16. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 9. 16 minus 24 is negative 8. Plus 9 is positive 1. Positive 3 over positive 1 is positive. So it turns out this is positive infinity. Because these match, they're the same, the answer is positive infinity. Alright, this one. When you plug in 2, you get 2 over 2 squared is 4 minus 4 is 0. Same as here. So this is one of your 3 answers. Matter of fact, this is not an answer right away. So we got to split this up. As x approaches a number less than 2, so we're going to say 1. And as x approaches a number a little bit bigger than 2, we'll just say 3. So 2 over 1 squared is 1 minus 4. Well, this is going to give us a negative number. We're going to say negative infinity. When we plug in 3, you get 2 over 3 squared is 9 minus 4. Well, this is going to give us a positive infinity. From the left side and the right side, they don't match up. So because of that, it's D and E. Number 12. Plug in 3. 3 squared is 9. Minus 3 minus 2. What's 9 minus 3? It's 6. Minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 2 on the bottom is 1. 4 over 1 is 4. So if you get a value, you just stop and that's your answer. 13. This is just simple, take the derivative. Negative 5x5 becomes negative 25x4. This is the only one that's negative 25x4, so it has to be B. This is the power rule. x5 becomes 5x4. Good. 5x squared is 10x. Good. Minus x becomes minus 1. So x becomes 1, 6 goes away. Alright, we got two expressions getting multiplied, so this is the product rule. These are called the power rule. Alright, so we take the derivative of the front. So y prime equals, the derivative of the front is 4x, and 4 becomes nothing. Leave this alone. Plus, now we take the derivative of this. 4x3 plus 6x. 1 goes away. And we leave this part alone. So times 2x3 plus 4. You gotta be careful. They switch things around. So we're looking for this. And notice, see, they even switched this around. So it's completely switched around. So this is it right here. This is the only one that matches this. And then it's the same over here. Yeah, so just be really careful. Try to trick you there. This is the quotient rule. Okay, the derivative of the top, 0. Leave the bottom alone. Minus derivative of the bottom, 10x. Leave the top alone. All over the bottom squared. Parentheses around it, square it. This is 0 times all this goes away. So it becomes negative 10 times 5 is 50. Actually, they just left it like that. So notice the negative, 5 times 10 over the bottom squared. So it's this one right here. Alright, the derivative of the top for number 17 is 10x. Leave the 4 goes away. Leave the bottom alone. Minus derivative of the bottom. 4x, 3, 5 goes away. Leave the top alone. 2x, 5 minus 4. All over the bottom, x4 plus 5 squared. So it's not D because it doesn't have that bottom. And then x4 is not this one. So it's either A or B, but it's most likely A. So let's check. I see 10x. Oh, I forgot to write 4. 10x4, x4 plus 5 minus, and basically we got the same thing, so it's A. Alright, 18. This is the chain rule because all this is locked in with the 2. So you move the 2 to the front, leave the inside alone. Subtract 1 from the 2, you get 1. Times the derivative of the inside, so 4x5 becomes 20x4. 5 goes away. And we're looking for this. And it is C. Alright, move the 5 to the front, so 5, leave the inside alone. Times the derivative of the inside, 5x4. And we're looking for this. And I forgot to subtract 1 from the 5, so it's 4. And it's A. Alright, 20. So this is a quotient and chain rule in 1. So the chain rule, move the 4 to the front, leave the inside alone. So when you do the quotient rule, you take the derivative of the top. So I'm taking the derivative of the top. Leave the inside alone. Times the derivative of the inside, so it's negative 4x. 5 goes away. So there's derivative of the top, leave the bottom alone. So we gotta leave this, we gotta write 4x plus 1, so that's the bottom. Minus, now we're back to the quotient rule. So all this was the chain rule, and then then leave the bottom alone. So now it switches, so the derivative of the bottom, 4. Let's leave the top alone. Write it just how it looks. All over the bottom squared. Well, this one doesn't have the bottom squared, so it's not that one. This one doesn't have a bottom. And then this one's wrong. So you could almost just get the answer with using the multiple choice from just the bottom. And if you check, you always want to double, triple check everything. Make sure all your values are correct. And that's the answer. 21. We're going to find the slope. So you take the derivative and you plug in. So this becomes, so f prime of x is negative 4x. F prime of, we're plugging in 2. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. That's our slope. This one you gotta do the quotient rule, draw the top. We're gonna leave the bottom alone. Minus the draw the bottom, 2. Leave the top alone. All over the bottom squared. We're going to plug in 3, so that's 6. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. Minus 2. And 3 squared is 9. All over 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. Squared, which is 64. So 6 times 8 is 48. Minus 18 over 64. This is 30 over 64. Cut both in half, so 15 over 32. We want to find the equation of the tangent line now. This is the y minus y1 going through all those steps, the 4 steps. So take the derivative of this, is negative 2x minus 1. We're going to plug in 1. So m equals, so this is y prime. Plug in 1, so it's negative 2 times 1 minus 1, which is negative 2. Sorry about that. I think this is still going. So negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So if we use the multiple choice as a guide, this is the only one that has a slope of negative 3. So I'm just going to just say that's the answer and go with that. Save some time. 25. I'm going to skip 25. And let's do number 26. The derivative of the top is 0. Leave the bottom alone. This is the quotient rule. Minus the derivative of the bottom, 1. Leave the top alone. All over the bottom squared. So we get, this goes away. So we get negative 2 over x plus 2 squared. We're going to plug in 0. So m is negative 2 over 0 plus 2 is 2, squared is 4. This is negative 1/2. So it can't be B or C. So then the next step is y minus y1, which is 1, equals our slope, negative 1/2, x minus 0, y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x. This becomes nothing, and then we're going to add 1 to both sides. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. So the answer is D. Alright. Sorry about that, I didn't see what I was doing there. I'm going to skip 27. Let's skip 28. Let's do 29. 29 is kind of a tough one. You got to do the chain rule, so the 1/3 goes in the front. So y prime 1/3. Leave the inside alone. You're going to subtract 1 from 1/3. So 1/3 minus 1 is the same as 1/3 minus 3 over 3, which is negative 2/3. Then the derivative of the inside, so 2x becomes 2. So we got to fix this. So I start with the 1/3. This goes on the bottom, and then the 2 goes on top. So 2/3, it becomes the positive 2/3. So the 3 on the bottom is the root. It's the third root, and then we square it. So we're going to plug in 0. So it's 2 over 3, the cube root of, oh, I'm sorry, not 0. I'm looking at the wrong problem. We're going to plug in negative 2. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, and a negative 4 is negative 8 squared. There's two ways you could do it. You could do the cube root of 8, or you could do negative 8 squared. Doesn't matter. Let's do negative 8 squared first. So 3, the cube root, so negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. And then this is 2 over the cube root, so it's 3 still there. The cube root of 64 is what times what is 64? It's 4. So 2 over 12, which is 1 over 6. And then ask yourself, or look at the multiple choice, notice that this is the only one that has 1 over 6. So we're just going to take a shortcut and call it a day. I'll skip this one, and I'll skip this one. Very similar. I'm probably going to get rid of one of these 1/3. So on the test, I don't like this one either. Probably going to get rid of this one. Maybe add another one or something. Alright, on the back side, 33. Find dy dx. So you take the derivative of everything. Negative 4y3 becomes negative 12y squared. 2 becomes nothing. Oh, and then don't forget, whenever you take the derivative of y, you always have to add dy dx. 2 goes away, and then equals x squared becomes 2x. And we want to find this, so think of this as a variable. So the way we find it is we divide both sides by negative 12y squared. This goes out. dy dx is what we want to find. Is 2x over negative 12y squared. This is not one of the answers because we need to reduce. So divide both by 2. So x over negative 6y squared. And the answer would be B. Starting with 33, by the way, these are implicit. Y is part of the equation. All right, this is a circle graph. So y2 becomes 2y dy dx. X squared becomes 2x. 25 becomes 0. We're going to find the slope of the tangent line. So all we're going to do is plug in for x and y. So 2 times 4 dy dx plus 2 times negative 3 equals 0. 2 times 4 is 8 dy dx plus, or actually minus 6 equals 0. We're going to add 6 to both sides. 8 dy dx equals positive 6. And then divide both sides by 8. So dy dx equals 6 over 8, which is cut in half, 3 over 4. So we kind of took the derivative and plugged in at the same time, took a little shortcut there also. Let's do 35. y3 becomes 3y squared dy dx. y2 becomes 2y dy dx. This becomes 2x3 becomes 6x squared, and 4 goes away. We're going to plug in 1 and 1. So 3 times 1 squared is 3 dy dx. 2 times 1 is 2 dy dx. 6 times 1 squared is 6 equals 0. Notice we have 3 of these and 2 of these, so it's 5 dy dx's. Plus 6. I'm going to move the 6 over here. So it equals negative 6. Take a little shortcut. And divide both sides by 5. Of course, this is not really what dy dx is. It's what the slope is. I should write m. But negative 6 over 5. Those are m, our slope. Alright, 36. You do the same thing. That's what we did, but then you do the extra step, y minus y1. I'll skip 36. 37, we want to find this higher level derivative. It's the 1, 2, 3. So we're going to take the derivative of this 3 times. So this becomes, so f prime becomes 15x to the 4th. F double prime, 4 times 15 is 20, 60, x3, and then f 1, 2, 3, triple prime, 3 times 6 is 180, x squared. Same thing with 38, but it's only f double prime, so you do it twice. So make sure you only do it twice, not 3 times. 39, this is a chain rule. We're using trig, the chain rule. So the derivative of the outside, so sine becomes cosine. You leave the inside alone, x5. And then times the derivative of the inside, which is 5x4. And then basically that's the answer. 5x4 cosine, this is it. And then same thing here, sine becomes cosine. If this was cosine, it becomes negative sine, so be careful there. 3, leave the inside alone, times the derivative of the inside, 6x. And then you just find that one. 6x cosine 3x squared. All right, thank you.